Hey everybody, welcome back to Durbin's Bourbon. I'm Joe.
And I'm Josh.
Today we're doing another blind. Y'all love these blinds.
I do too.
It's going to be an interesting blind, even more so than normal. I am COVID recovering, so I really have zero hope that I'm going to be able to tell any of these apart. I really don't think so, because I lost my sense of smell. And my taste is pretty consistent. I'm about a week post recovery as far as the real illness and the fever and all that stuff, but I still can't smell very well, but I can taste some things. I have, when I was strong enough to enjoy whiskey again, you can believe that I did, but it all tasted kind of the same, dusty and bitter. Like a coffee note of bitterness in the back without the coffee flavor, just that bitter note.
Sounds terrible.
And it was a bummer, so I thought, you know what? I don't have to buy expensive whiskey anymore because it all tastes the same, and I can't smell it. But the smell is coming back a little bit, and the taste is coming back a little bit more. Josh and I have done some other reviews today as well. Today is video recording day for us, so we're trying to knock out some videos.
I feel fantastic.
If you're just tuning in for a blind, I just got my tattoo
the blind
finished.
Of?
The blind
Stop
of
talking about your
is
tattoo, dude.
I know,
Everybody
I just got
has
finished.
them.
I know,
Jesus
but
Christ.
that's why I'm dressed like a hillbilly.
Just kidding. I'm just giving you a hard time.
But this is a Four Roses blind, and we have 4 lineups. The Four Roses regular is going to be in the mix, and they are going to be inside is number 1, 2, 3, and 4. So 1 moving out to 4. So the lineup that y'all are going to be seeing us test is the Four Roses regular. It's what is it, $16 or something like that.
You can see it back there.
Yeah, it's
just the regular.
This old guy, just a plain old run-of-the-mill Four Roses.
I guess I should have put all those away.
The next one is the single barrel, which we have it as the focal point here because it is a cool bottle. Jinx. 100 proof. The regular is 80 proof. We have small batch select non-chill filtered. That particular bottle came from the great Commonwealth of Kentucky. Josh and I did a mancation there. Commonwealth. It is the state of Kentucky, but it is a Commonwealth. It's coming in at 104 proof. The boy's testing me today.
Yeah. I'm trying to get you riled up.
The last one, however, is also just the standard small batch. Let me grab it for you. Right here. Just the regular, everybody can get a hold of it. And
I've seen the select in our stores.
It is. It's starting to get here.
I think it's out there for you.
Yeah. When we were back there, was it last year or the year before? Last year? Year before.
Yeah, whatever.
It was not available. It was a distillery only item. So Josh bought one and I bought one. Non-chill filtered, which is a huge bonus. We love non-chill filtered bourbons. I used to really love them. Who knows if I'll know now.
And also, a fun fact, if you don't know, Four Roses is called Four Roses because they have 4 different yeast strains. And they do a combo of those to make different flavors. So one's more floral, one's more this. When you go there, they actually have like a board or whatever. Do you remember that? They have like, so it's like this one's A, C, B, E. This one's F.
Yeah.
You know, whatever. So it's kind of cool. That's why it's called Four Roses, because they have 4 different yeast strains that they use to mix and figure out what kind of bourbon they want to make.
And there's also another note to the name. Is remember the historical name of the man that wanted to court the lady?
Oh,
a bouquet of 4 roses to her. So there's kind of a mix and match.
Sappy.
There's a mix and match of history there and legend and folklore and whatever, they all blend together. The distilleries are notorious for doing that to try and tug on our heartstrings to get us to want to buy their products.
Which works a lot.
This was a great distillery. Josh and I made some great friends there who now follow the channel. Thank you guys. Hope you tune into this one. I'm sure you will. Great people there. We had almost a private tour when we were there. The products are great. Obviously, if I have all this four in my collection, I enjoy them. Four Roses was one of the 7 or 8 distilleries that was permitted to continue manufacturing whiskey for medicinal purposes only during that 13 years of prohibition. So they were one of the distilleries that continually operated through Prohibition. Good for them. So let's go into the nose. I'm going to start at number 4.
So I started, my number 1, I got candy butterscotch heavy on the nose. This one is heavy, thick, syrupy molasses on the nose.
Interesting.
Almost like that. What was that? Angel's Envy rye. Remember how that was almost like that?
Yeah.
This one.
Huh. Oh man, this is.
Are you getting anything?
subtle notes. The review, you're going to get more accuracy from Josh today. I can promise you that. My sniffer is not working very well.
This one's syrupy too.
Okay, so
let's get heavy molasses. Not as heavy as that one, I don't think. Oh no. This one almost get a little wood char.
I want to say I get vanilla, but I don't know if that's my brain.
I could say I'm getting vanilla on all of them.
I sniffed this number 3 with number 4, and I'm like, they're different. This is bland compared to this.
This one smells. Interesting. God, what's that smell on that one? It's almost a molassesy too. They're very similar for me. This one's got that candy, almost like that sweet tart.
Oh yeah,
powdered candy. Yeah.
Boy, that's almost non-existent. Soft.
God, I have no idea which one's which. I gotta try them.
Boy, soft. Nose. I'm just gonna go quick because I'm not really reliable.
Here, cheers me so I can take a drink. Cheers. Cheers.
I got nothing on this one. Whatever this is, I got nothing.
Got vanilla. Vanilla and char basically on that first one. It's not as sweet as the nose. Cleanse my instrument.
All right, there we go. Let me go back to this. Yeah, there's a notice there. So I'll just do a brief 1, 2, 3, and 4. On 1, I got a soft nose, a slight burn, and that's it. Number 2, no noticeable nose at all. Whatever number 2, I couldn't smell anything. I mean, okay, let me say dust. I've got a hint of dust.
Just
and
dust?
Number 2, yeah, dust.
That sucks,
Number
man.
3, a soft nose, meaning for me, post-COVID, maybe there's alcohol and some char. It's really light. Number 4, however, I even came back to it after I smelled them, thinking maybe I skewed something. It's strong. Number 4 has the only detectable nose that I can pull anything out of at all. Number 4, I have strong alcohol and char. It's It's the only thing that's waking my nose up and saying, hey, hello, there's something here. Try and find me. I can't really pull anything out. There might be some sweet tart, that tart nose in it. Let's go ahead and taste it. Number 4, I'm going to taste it. For me, out of these 3, this is the only one that on my nose I detect anything really that jumps out slightly.
I'm interested to see how your taste buds do.
It's hot. First impression, it's hot. Ooh, caramel. There's a caramel note.
Gosh, I don't know. It's so hard to tell which. I'm trying to figure out which one's which, but my number 3 is my least favorite. I'm assuming by the flavor tastes almost like green, like fresh lumber.
Wow.
And tastes young. So I'm assuming that's the 80 proof, run of the mill.
Really?
Yeah. I'm assuming, but the rest of them are pretty similar.
Okay.
To me.
This is going to be interesting for y'all out there watching too, because Josh didn't catch COVID. Amazingly, we spent 2 days together. As I was symptomatic,
Dude,
I had a fever. I was feeling ill. We hung out. Literally shared a flask together.
Well,
as
we don't
I
put
was
our
sick.
lips on it, though.
No, we just kind of pour it up. But I mean, I drove his truck. I mean, I'm amazed that he did not get it. I got it. My wife got it. She went to the hospital.
I was probably the one that gave it to him. I'm just a carrier.
Yeah.
I'm assuming. Boy, this is hard. I have my definite least favorite. I guess I shouldn't yell because the microphone's right here.
Yeah, got a good mic. Thanks to my amazing wife.
Definite least favorite. These 3 are very similar. I think I'm leaning towards number 1 as my favorite. But now my tongue's starting to get numb. So I got to make a decision quick here.
I'm making quick single, almost single comment notes.
Mm-hmm. That's all I do. Try to get the most. I think. Gosh, I don't know.
Man, this is amazing. This is
Yeah,
so
I think
interesting.
Number one on the nose, just the nose, is definitely my favorite. But flavor profile, I'm not too sure.
God, this is so strange. It is
I'm getting
so
dark
strange.
chocolate on these now.
I wish. It's interesting with your nose messed up and your taste messed up. Coming back to whiskey, but we want to get videos to y'all, and we thought you might appreciate a difference.
Gosh,
How screwed up
I'm gonna go out.
you can be after a disease that some people are like this virus saying it doesn't exist. Oh, believe me, friends, it does.
Believe you me.
It's really messed up my sense of taste and smell. So much so, these are whiskeys I've drank quite a bit over the last several years, and they taste nothing like what my brain knows that they are. I mean, you drink whiskey like we do, you have a general idea of what your whiskey's going to taste like every time. So,
especially a bourbon. They're
a
so
bourbon,
similar.
we know them. I mean,
These are very sweet to me, though. For the most part, I haven't never done a taste test with the Four Roses. I always
we
thought
haven't.
the small batch select was my favorite, but it'll be interesting to see what my favorite actually is. Because these single barrels, every one's going to be different. Excuse me.
I'm done.
I'm done.
Because
I'm
I can't get anything else out. I don't want to add any water.
Do you have a favorite and a least favorite?
I do.
Okay. You want to go?
For what my palate at this point, post-COVID, can pick up, we'll start at number 1.
Okay, so number 1.
And I only went through them once, tasted them, initial response.
No, let's not start at number 1. Let's start at your least favorite first.
My
and
least
work your way
favorite?
up. Yep.
Well, let's see. Least favorite was it really for me? It was a tie between 3 and 2. If I
Okay.
have to go, I'm going to go number 3.
Least favorite.
It was bitter.
Okay.
That's all I got. Bitter.
Okay.
Number
So
2
2 would be your third.
2 was
Okay.
same bitter as 3.
Okay.
Those two.
God, my mouth is so numbered.
Is it? I could not differentiate between these two.
Oh, that's
at
interesting.
all.
Okay, that's interesting.
They were the same. Nose was no noticeable nose, and number 3 was a soft nose.
Okay. Makes sense when I tell you what they are.
Then number 1, soft nose, slight.
That's your number 2.
No, number 1. Number 1. I'm going back to number 1.
Right, that's your number 2 favorite.
Oh, yes,
Okay.
number 2, soft nose, slight burn on the nose.
Yeah.
And I got char and some form of a bitter.
Okay.
So it was my number 2 favorite.
So the 4 was your
So number
favorite.
4 for post-COVID, I went back and forth. I even came back to it after these just to make sure it was consistent for me. So a strong alcohol nose, and I can't even read my own note. And char with some character to it. There was some character.
Right.
That's what I was trying to say. It had character or depth. I couldn't pull out vanillas and caramels and all those things that I usually can, but it stood out.
Okay.
It stood out to me. On the taste, hot, caramel, and then a bitter char. So if I was guessing, and this is just with my brain saying,
Right.
okay, if you're getting these notes on number 4, logically, I would think it was the non-chill filtered
The Select.
Four Roses Small Batch Select at 104 proof.
Okay.
Just because my palate, what is left.
Can you try to
picks
guess
up.
any of the others? I mean, just for fun.
If I was going to, then I would go to the single barrel as number 1.
Okay.
And then the other 2 could have been the small batch and the regular. If I would say number 3, let's call it just the regular run of the
Okay,
mill
number 3.
Four Roses, and the other one the small batch.
Okay. So what you had was we'll just start from your least favorite,
Okay.
which was number 3.
Yep.
Was the single barrel,
Holy cow!
and then number 2, which was
Yep.
your second to least favorite, is the regular 80 proof Four
Okay,
Roses run of the mill. So
okay.
you got those two,
Yeah.
roughly the same. Your number 2 was your number 1, so that was the small batch.
Regular small batch.
And your favorite was the select.
The select. I had a feeling that
There's
was
something
the
about it,
select.
right? There's something
There
about
is.
it.
And I
So
really
you called the select, which was good.
yeah.
The other ones you were kind of
Yeah, they were just toast.
right.
But that small batch select, non-chill filtered, and you know what? This might tell y'all something about non-chill filtered
Oh,
whiskeys.
so much better.
Because little lesson, if y'all would indulge. What do you think, buddy? Non-chill filtered is they run the whiskey through a chill filtration process to remove the fatty esters that are in there.
Which the
And those
fatty esters make it taste better.
Right.
So I
But-
don't know why they do that.
cosmetics. When you
Oh,
add ice
correct. It gets
or
cloudy,
cold water, it clouds up, and the English or the Scottish call it a Scotch mist. Here in America, it just gets cloudy
Yeah.
and kind of fatty looking in
Yeah.
there. You can't see through it. It's not pretty. It's a cosmetic thing only. But when you remove those esters, those
There's so
fatty
much flavor
compounds,
in that.
that is part of the character and the depth and the
You get from
nuance
from the barrel and
yes,
all that. Yep.
and that's part of the whiskey. So even sick me, my palate can pick up those nuances of those esters. So I don't know. That's
Sick
kind
me,
of a
sick you.
sick of you. So that's kind of interesting. I'm pleased to know that I guessed that's what that
Right,
was
with your flavored.
and what
being
was
gone.
there. So
All right.
good on
Do
non-chill filtered.
We'll go through mine here.
Okay, and now
So
on to Josh.
we'll start with my least favorite. Was number 3 I got a little molasses, a little wood char on the nose. Read my own writing here. Tasted like fresh green lumber and tasted young. I'm going to go on a limb and say that is the standard run-of-the-mill Four Roses.
Okay.
My number 3 and my least favorite. My second to least favorite is number 2. Very molassesy on the nose. It was sweet and vanilla on the palate, but it just didn't have the umph that the other two I felt had. So the number 3 I'm going to say was the single barrel.
You're at number 3.
No,
You're on number
my
2,
number
but
3
you're
favorite.
number
Sorry, my
3.
number 2, my
Your
third.
number 2 is your number 3
Correct.
favorite.
So my number 2
Gotcha.
glass is my third favorite,
Gotcha.
or my whatever, however you want to do
Yep.
it.
Number 2
My
is your
s-
third favorite.
Correct.
Gotcha.
And I think it's the single barrel.
Okay.
And then my number 1, my number 1 is my second to, not my favorite, the second favorite. And it was very candy and butterscotch on the nose. Vanilla, I got a good wood char on it. But it lacked a little sweetness.
Okay.
So I made that my number 2. I think that's the barrel select. Not the barrel select, the
Single barrel.
No, I already said single barrel for this one.
Yeah.
What's it called? Small batch.
Small
sorry.
batch,
Small
select.
batch. Not select. Small batch.
Just regular small
yeah.
batch.
And I think my number 4 was my favorite. Very heavy candy on the nose. I got good wood char and vanilla on the nose, or on the taste. And it seemed to have more depth to it, a little more syrupy goodness to me. So my number 4 is my favorite, and I think it's the small batch select.
Interesting.
So, let's see what
Very
really
interesting.
see what really happens.
Okay,
All right.
so let's go with your least favorite,
Okay.
which was
Number
number 3. It is the regular small batch.
Oh, really?
Regular, plain,
Wow.
run-of-the-mill.
So it's not it's
the
not
regular small batch.
So it's not the Four Roses.
No,
Normal.
it's
Okay,
not.
okay, gotcha.
Surprisingly,
Okay.
your number 3 favorite
Number 2.
was number 2, and it was Four Roses regular. It was just
Okay.
a run-of-the-mill well.
So I like the
bourbon,
well bourbon over
better
the
than
small batch. Good
Now,
note.
let's drop to your number 1.
My second
It was
favorite.
your second favorite. You called it the small batch bourbon. It was actually small batch select. It was that high proof, non-chill filtered puppy.
Wow. So I like the
So
single
that
barrel the best.
leads
huh?
us down to number 4, which was your
Interesting.
single barrel favorite whiskey. And that
That's interesting.
surprises
Me
me
too.
because he's been nailing the whiskeys lately.
I have been.
Prior to me getting sick, he has almost been batting 1,000
Mm-hmm.
for differentiating the two. But that makes sense.
Yeah.
The barrel characteristics and everything in a single barrel bourbon.
I was torn though.
would be
Those
close.
two, I was torn. Like I just had to pull the trigger and,
Sure.
and pick one. But
Mhm.
they were very, very similar. That's good to know.
Yeah. So you enjoyed the single barrel.
The most
Barely.
but this was just as good,
Right.
basically.
Yeah.
The other two, not to me,
No.
not close.
No, they were.
Yeah, I'll
large
probably
difference.
buy if I'm gonna buy a Four Roses. I'll just get that 80 proof one instead of the small batch.
Yeah.
And then these two,
Yep.
obviously the single barrel and the select,
Mm-hmm.
because they were
Small
both very.
batch select
they
for
they
sure.
stood out to me.
Yep, I agree.
So-
like I can come back to it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, there's definitely a little green, maybe. Let's
Yeah.
call it green. No, 0. Number 3, which is the small
Yeah.
batch.
Oh, your number 3. Here, I
Number
got it
3
over here.
was.
Your number 3 was a single barrel.
That's crazy.
Yeah, because so my
I got
single
0.
my single. Let me smell yours.
Does it smell the same? You should.
Yeah. Exactly the
That's
same.
crazy.
Super molassesy.
It could be water, as far as I'm concerned.
Really?
There's some alcohol in it,
Wow.
but bitter, coffee, bitter. Yeah, crazy.
Try to wrap this up, huh?
There's a blind coming at you. I know y'all really, really like blinds. We love doing blinds.
Oh, so fun.
I was curious to see what would happen with a blind for me.
Because
I know.
I'm
broken.
I'm broken.
I'm broken. But it's kind of fun, actually, because it challenges me in a different way than it did before.
Right.
I'm having to search for this and see, well, what am I picking up now? Because things are completely different.
Yep.
Palate and nose. My palate is farther along in its healing process than my nose is, surprisingly. So, who knows? You all may be seeing Durbin's Bourbon reviews kind of skewed for some time. But at least we got Josh here. He's consistent. He didn't catch the COVID.
No.
I think he's a carrier, and he just gives
I
it
just
to
give it to
everybody.
everybody. It's
But,
a gift that keeps on giving, you know? The whole year round,
Yeah.
Clark.
But I'm thankful to be on the mend, and my wife is on the mend, so we're grateful for that. I know a lot of you subscribers have been following us for years, and we've built kind of a relationship, I think, and we've talked in our comments and stuff, so we appreciate y'all very much. We're growing. Hit that thumbs up button, hit the subscribe button. I got nothing else.
Yeah.
Hope you have enjoyed this blind review of Four Roses Distillery's products.
Did you hear that?
I did. I don't know what that was.
That was your dog farting. I hope that was picked up on the mics right here. Dang it.
It was pretty
It
loud.
was loud.
French Bulldogs, if you don't know this, they're really gassy and noisy
Stinky.
and stinky.
Breathe a lot.
The wife saw him, so maybe it was her.
Maybe.
Anyway, we might as well wrap this blind review. Four Roses products, a great Kentucky bourbon distillery. Great time there. We really enjoyed it. As always, enjoy your whiskeys and bourbons
Any way you like.
Cheers,
Cheers.
everybody. Cheers, buddy.
pal. Oh, I smell the fart. Oh.
Not me.
He was aiming it at me. It was like his butthole's right there.
I don't smell a thing.
Oh, okay.